Alright, what is going on everybody on YouTube? Griffin here coming back to you guys with another live stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. And first and foremost, before we get going with this crazy stream today, it's been a few days since we did a stream. We always do our Sunday stock talk, of course, and all that good stuff. But gonna be a different kind of stream today because we had a crazy day in the market, of course. But before we get going, if you're new to the channel and going to be tuning in for the first time, either during the live stream or after the video uploads, if you're seeing this for the first time, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider smashing the subscribe button below, hit the bell icon right beside it, and if you end up enjoying this video after you see it or stream, if you're seeing it live, definitely hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate that. It helps the channel out a lot, and I appreciate you guys so much for doing so and just for tuning in. But with that, we will just go ahead and get right in. Before I do, I always like to make sure that we are up and going and we are good to go. So we will just start out with just a broader look at the markets overall. So you can see overall, obviously we had the crash back early on this year. We topped out around 3,400, fell all the way down to around 2,200, and then we've been kind of on just this never-ending recovery ever since. We pointed it out earlier this week that the market was starting to look pretty overbought, at least in the short term. Had we known that the market was going to do what it did all week, we probably would have held some short positions. We did play the short side quite a bit, but we did not hold through today. But if you did, shout out to you. We do have some short positions that are hedging the overall portfolio, but like most of you guys, it was not a very good day, but obviously you only lose if you sell at lows, obviously, at the end of the day. But we do have a couple $1,000s in hedges, so either way, we're still going to make a little bit of money on the downside. But when we take a look overall, we'll pull up the 5-day, 5-minute chart, and you can see here that market was just kind of acting very toppy around that 3,200 to 3,225 level, and then we started to see it kind of show signs of weakness, that it was wanting to break down. I believe it was Tuesday, the 9th. Yeah, that'd be Tuesday. And then we had the Fed stuff going on yesterday. We were kind of up and down, and then we just started to slide off into the close. And then from there, it just started to debacle, of course, into today. And we actually broke a pretty critical support level. We are now back above it. But that critical 3,000 level, we fell below it briefly this afternoon. Market did look like, the one good thing is it looked like we were starting to form a bottom right around that 29.95 level, which a lot of you guys actually in our Discord group chat, we have all been talking about kind of that 29.95 to 3,000 level in the past. So far it has held its own. However, it looks like we may be starting to head back down there and maybe retest it. Just a few minutes before I went live, the S&P 500 was at 3,020. Now it is back down under 3,010. It looks like it may be trying to head down again. So that'll be something to watch tonight overall. You can see it got rejected at 3,021. But you can see that was kind of a slight resistance level throughout the afternoon. So that must be kind of our new resistance if we're going to try to go back up. But that'll definitely be something to watch overnight. You can see 3,000 overall held up decently, and then right out from the get actually of the new market trading session is when we hit 29.92, and then we started to pop back up above it from there. So it'll be pretty interesting to watch just kind of how we end the week overall. Let me know, actually, I don't even have the chat pulled up right now. Let me take a look and see. None of you have posted in there yet. Let me know in the chat actually whether you guys think tomorrow, are we going to end it on a green day? Are we going to have some sort of like a strong bounce back of 0.5% to 1%? Keep in mind we're already at about 0.4% to the upside as of now, so we literally only have to move up another 10 to 15 points to be a solid percent of a green day. But at the same time, do you think, again, let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're seeing it after the video uploads as well. Let me know, do you think it's going to end up being a red day or a green day tomorrow, which would be Friday, June the 12th, of course. Me personally, I'm kind of on the fence, because usually whenever we have such a strong red day like this, it tends to be followed by at least a solid bounce back, usually somewhere around 1%. a lot of times. But then again, we were, at least I don't know about you guys, but I know me personally, I was so scarred by just what happened back in March that I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I want to believe that tomorrow's going to be a solid green day. We'll get back above 30.30 and maybe start to staircase on back up. Obviously, over the long term, we know markets go up. They want to, short term at least, can hold, or if we're going to break down and maybe even retest this lower Bollinger Band, which a lot of people are estimating we may test 2,800. That is my worst case scenario, and honestly, and I'm not even talking about just for tomorrow. I mean, could we go there tomorrow? Sure, we dropped almost 200 points today on the S&P, so it wouldn't be a surprise, but that's my worst case scenario personally for this overall sell-off. It depends. Actually, one of you in our Discord group chat commented on the poll that I posted on here on YouTube, asking about, is tomorrow going to be a red day or a green day, and said it depends. If it's just profit taking that has happened over the last few days, then yes, we'll probably go up tomorrow, but and even in the future, of course. But if this is strictly due to coronavirus again, because a lot of people are starting to get worried about another round of coronavirus for whatever reason. I guess they need another news event. I guess all the protest stuff must not. I don't watch the news a lot, so I don't know. But I'm guessing the whole new on the news of the protest must be wearing off, so they're switching back to coronavirus. What I like to look at is the facts. The facts are that over the last 10, 12 days now, our new cases nationwide have topped out around 20,000. So if anything, we seem to be near the top and maybe even getting ready to go back down. Who knows? Again, I'm a numbers guy. I just go based off the numbers. I don't go based off the BS. So we'll just see. But the comment was, if this is due to the coronavirus and fears of the coronavirus, we could definitely keep sliding, which I definitely agree with that. I think that was a pretty good assessment of the overall situation, because if this is just strictly profit taking, because like we said, you can see we were just riding, just butting up. Something about that 3,200 to 3,220 level, the market just didn't like. It was a pretty critical level, keep in mind. I don't know if we'll be able to see it as well on the 1 year, 1 day chart. Let's just zoom in right here. Find that 3,200 level. So it'd be somewhere in here. Yeah. So you can see right around that 3,200 level, we were almost kind of doing not necessarily the same thing, because we were still going up. But once we got above 32, between 32 and 3,300, a pretty wide range, of course, 100-point range. The market was kind of struggling around this level as well. Now, we didn't pull back nearly as much, of course. I mean, we're talking about maybe 33.30. We're talking about maybe at the most 100-point pullback overall. Again, just kind of trading in between 3,200 to 3,300. The whole point, though, is that the market didn't really like that 3,200 to 3,300 level overall, and then we randomly just popped up above 3,300, and we didn't stay above it very long. We almost got to 3,400, and then we just got smacked down from there, of course. It's debatable whether we would have had a sell-off anyways when you're looking at the RSI from back then. I mean, we were pretty overbought overall for a while, and the market at that time, again, kind of like right now, was just looking for a reason to sell off, and then coronavirus was just was like a wildfire spreading, essentially. And that seems to be kind of what's happened here. Again, you can see our RSI was pretty overbought. We were at like a 75, 76 at one point on the RSI on the daily chart. It was needing a pullback at the minimum. A lot of us in here were saying 3,150, 3,100, trying to be a little bit optimistic, being that our pullbacks overall have just been very minimal, to say the least. I mean, you can see here when we first started going to the upside again, we topped out somewhere around 2650, and then we pulled back to about 2450. So only a 200-point pullback there, and that was one of the bigger ones. And then right here, we topped out right around, we'll call it 2890, and then we pulled back to about 2710 is what we'll call it. So it was at about 180-point pullback. So overall, I mean, you can see that these pullbacks lately have only been like 200 points at the max, and obviously very short-lived. We just kept continuing to just push to the upside. And then, of course, starting late second half of May into early June, we just started ripping to the upside with very little resistance at all, and now we got overbought, of course. So it was definitely due. A lot of us were predicting at least somewhere, again, around that 1 to 200 point pullback overall. And that's about where we're at right now. We got up, I think the recent high was like 3,225, I want to say. No, 31. Okay, so yeah, we're actually down 200, just over 200 points right now. So, and you can see now we've definitely cooled off. I mean, 1 hour chart is just showing ridiculously oversold. 4 hour chart hasn't been this oversold since way back when all of this first got going, of course. Daily chart, not oversold. That's the main thing. That is the big kicker here. By all means, we could just see a dead cat bounce and continue to sell off. Which again, I think, me personally, worst case scenario, I'm looking around this like 28. Where was it at? Let me zoom back out. I'm thinking personally we're going to settle right around this 28 to 2900 level at the absolute worst. But there are a lot of people that are saying, hey, I mean, we may fill this gap all the way down and retest 26, 2700. I don't think we're going to go that far personally, but again, it all depends on why is the market moving so volatile right now. I mean, we had about a -6 to -7% down day overall across the board with the Dow, S&P, all of those. I think the Russell got absolutely hammered. I think it was down about 8% on the day, 7 or 8%. So I don't think it was just profit taking, and that's the main thing here. Which is it profit taking? A bunch of people saying, my God, I mean, we bounced like 45-50% from the lows. Let's go ahead and take some money off the table. Is that what is going on here? Or again, is it fear? Because we all know fear can obviously drive the market just into a horrible situation. I think it's kind of a combination. I don't think investors are necessarily so fearful of the coronavirus this time. So I definitely do not think we're going to retest the lows because, again, I've been saying this for the longest. When we dropped like this, the market was pricing in the absolute worst case scenario. Market was hearing things left and right like we were about, oh my God, we could be shut down for a year. We could be shut down for this long. And we're not doing that again. I mean, you could have your local bureaucrat governments, depending on your state and your city and all that, try to force you guys to shut down. But I know, like here in Texas and the U.S. as a nation, we are not going to shut down. So I think overall the market kind of knows that, but at the same time, you still have fear at the end of the day. And with fear comes market volatility, comes these big drops. So if it continues, like I said, and that's a strong if it continues, I expect us to probably fall no more than about that 2,800. Honestly, I'm thinking closer 2,850 to 2,900. But at the absolute worst, I'm predicting 2,800. And that's, again, my worst case scenario. My best case scenario is I still do think, in all honesty, there's a little bit more selling that's going to come. When we drop like this, it usually doesn't all happen in one day. It usually takes a week or so to kind of play itself out. I mean, you can see when this first got going, we had a pretty solid bounce. We bottomed at 28.51 roughly. We bounced all the way up to about 31.40, so a solid like 300 point jump. Not to say that's going to happen, of course, but it's the whole point is it can't happen. You can have these little dead cat bounce rallies, and then you just continue to sell with a lot of intensity going forward. Again, I don't think that's going to happen, but my best case scenario is we'll probably have a bounce tomorrow, and then we'll probably retest the lows, assuming it fails, go down to that 2,900, 2,850 level. But my best case scenario is we get a dead cat bounce tomorrow, we pull back to the low of around 29.95, bounce off of that again, confirm it as a support level, and then continue to go higher. So it'll be interesting. We can see overall now we've gained a little bit of speed now in this little bounce that we've had in the after hours trading session. Again, this 3,020 to 22 level has been a pretty solid resistance ever since about the last hour of trading. You can see we sold off. We tried to come back and test it again, sold off some more. Didn't even get close to it at the end of the day. And then before the market closed up at 4 p.m., we tried to push it again. And then, of course, when market first opened up was when we made a fresh new low of 29.92. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it's going to actually break out here. If it does, then probably 30.30 is going to be that 30.30 to 30.34 is probably going to be your next level. I wasn't really keeping my eye on it too much throughout the day just because I knew it was just going to be more selling, more selling. Me personally, I was just readjusting my portfolio today. We bought 100 shares of SH, which is an inverse ETF of SPY essentially. I mean, it's not literally SPY's inverse ETF necessarily, but it does move the opposite. It's a short S&P 500 ETF, so whatever the S&P moves, this is going to move, just correlated directly. So it pretty much is the inverse ETF of SPY. You can see obviously it was up about 6% on the day. And then in the after hours session, we did buy some SDAO. We bought, I believe, 25 shares of this at $26.40, if I recall. I don't remember the exact price that we got in this. I know it was after hours though. Maybe it was $26.30, $26.40, somewhere in that range. Not a big deal. But we just wanted to have a couple $1,000s in hedge. That way, if the market does continue to sell off, then we'll at least make some profits on that back end, and then we'll take those profits from those positions, roll them into more equities. And then other than that, I was just kind of buying stuff that's kind of what I see is on sale right now. We bought some Boeing. We actually started buying that a little bit last night prematurely, but then we bought a little bit more today, just kind of averaged down on that because it had obviously a ridiculous day to the downside. My average price is somewhere around like 184, I want to say. Very small position, like 5 shares or something like that, and in at like 184, like I said, and my price target is around 200. I might even hold it for a while. Just depends on how much it swings, because this thing has swung a lot lately. I mean, you can just look at that 20-day chart. Obviously, it popped all the way up to 240. I'm not necessarily thinking that's going to happen. Could it? Sure. But I'm honestly looking for about 200. If I can get $16 per share of profit off that, that'll be a good trade. Another one we were buying quite a lot of the last day or so is Target. Target is a stock that's going to do well no matter what really is going on. Coronavirus, no coronavirus, anything like that. Target, I expect to continue to outperform in terms of when the market's going down. I think Target will kind of hold its own. You can see it was only down about 1.6%. Our average is around $119.25, something like that. And we are in, I want to say, 25 shares of that at the moment, maybe 15. I'm getting that in my Starbucks position confused. Let me see here. Get it pulled up for you guys. Okay, yeah, 15 shares of Target is what we have. And then, like I said, we have some Starbucks. We bought some in the after hours yesterday, bought some more today. Bought a lot of stuff today, actually. We are in 20 shares of Starbucks at an average of about $75. For that, we're looking at $85 as the price target. So that'd be a nice profit over there. We also bought some Netflix. Again, I'm just expanding the portfolio, trying to have exposure to a whole bunch of things. Things that I think will do well even during the coronavirus if we do get a second wave and the market's fearful of that. Netflix, I expect that to continue to outperform. It has had some trouble around this 425 to 440 level, kind of trying to decide what it wants to do. I'm betting that it's going to end up going to the upside. We did point out that there could be a head and shoulder pattern forming here. That's the only thing I am worried about. You can see left shoulder here, we got the head, and then it's to be determined if this is necessarily a right shoulder forming. But right now we're taking a slight risk, but we only got 2 shares. I mean, we took a very, very, very small position in this. Just 2 shares overall. Actually got it at a horrible price. We got it like $238, $239. Bought that very early in the day. And then, like I said, we bought a lot of stuff. We bought some Coca-Cola, bought 20 shares of that at around 46 46, was it? Or 46.20, I think. Maybe it was 47.20, because that's another one that I bought pretty early on in the day. It was either 46.20 or 47.20. Pull up the chat real quick and see if you guys have anything. Like I said, let me know in the chat. I don't know how many of you guys we even have tuning in right now, but let me know in the chat if you think that. Hopefully our stream's doing okay too. It says we are. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you guys think that we are going to have a red day or a green day tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that we are in around an average price of about 47 bucks. So down a little bit on that. Obviously Coca-Cola, I believe they actually got a price target raise. Yeah, they had a price target raise just a couple days ago to 52. So I'm just looking for 50 bucks. I mean, if I can make a quick $3 per share on that at 20 shares, that's just, again, just more profits for the portfolio. We had some Chewy that we bought yesterday, which that was actually up pretty good earlier today. Hindsight's 2020. I could have sold it. I only had 5 shares. Again, all these are very small positions because, again, we're assuming that there could be some more volatility. We're assuming that we could possibly continue to move lower, even much lower in the short term. So we want to have some cash on hand. We didn't want to like put it all in or anything like that in one day. But we had 5 shares of that. It was up like $30. Now it's pretty much dead on break even, down 90 cents. But yeah, that position was looking very good earlier on in the day. But that's another company that I think, because again, it's if you don't know a lot about Chewy, it's like a delivery company where they deliver like pet products. I think it's more geared towards dogs. Don't quote me on that, but it's like just geared towards pet owners who don't like, if you can't go out to Petco or where are the other ones, PetSmart, things like that, if they're closed down or you can't, or if you just don't want to go to them, you don't want to take the risk with coronavirus, they'll deliver the stuff to you. It's a stock that has been doing pretty well as of late. Take a look at the 1-year, 1-day chart. You can see, obviously, I mean, look, can you even tell where coronavirus really happened with this stock? So coronavirus started back here. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still had a solid drop of about 25-30% it looks like on its own. But what did the markets drop? The markets, there were a lot of stocks that were down 60-70%. So it did not really do too bad considering. And then you can see its low was around 20 to 21 bucks. It has almost went up, not quite 3x, but pretty close to 3x with everything going on. Now, I know what a lot of people are going to say, well, look at your MACD, and maybe he's showing you a sign that it could go into some selling. This is true, and honestly, if it continues, again, that is why we have cash on hand. If it moves down to about $45, I will buy a hell of a lot more, because I expect it to bounce around this $45 range, and I'm looking to get 60 bucks a share out of it. So if I can bring my average cost down a couple dollars, I'll probably, if it goes all the way down to 45 bucks and bounces, I'll probably get in at like 46 bucks, and I'll probably at the minimum double, if not triple, my position. Again, keeping those positions small, but I mean, if I can get my price down to say an average of 47 bucks, and then I'm selling at 60, that's $13 per share. Again, if I can get 60 out of it, that's about a 25% return on my money. So not a bad risk-reward situation there. Now, if it breaks down, again, it's a small position. So if it continues to break down, I mean, Jesus Christ, I've only got 5 shares. It's not going to make or break my portfolio at the end of the day. So what I'll do is I'll just ride it out, see where it ends up finding a bottom, and then I'll definitely be buying a whole lot of it. Because I think longer term, this is going to be a pretty good stock to have. It's a fairly new, I think it just IPO'd within the last year, I think. Yeah, about a year ago, actually. So, actually, about a year ago to this day, it looks like 6/10/19 looks like was the IPO. So, fairly new company overall. You guys know that I don't really play IPOs necessarily, but this stock's been around for a year now, so I'm more comfortable trading it. So, we'll see what happens overall at that one. This is one of my more interesting trades, in my opinion. I'm kind of stepping outside of my comfort zone a little bit with it. Or no, sorry about that. I got 10 shares of that. And then we picked up 5 shares of Chegg. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know about this stock by now. This is a stock that has done fairly well during the coronavirus stuff. I don't know if you guys are noticing a theme here. I'm picking up stocks that I think are going to do well if there happens to be a second wave that, heaven forbid, cripples things for a little bit again. But I'm in here at an average. Another position, that's the position that is actually down 90 cents. The Chewy position is down $3 actually. In case if you guys were wondering, we are in this at, I think it's 57.20. Trying to get it pulled up here. Just trying to navigate through there. 57. Okay, so we're in it at $57 is our average price on there. And like I said, the target for this one, a lot of people are saying 70. If I can ride it up to 70, then by all means I will. But in all honesty, I'm just looking at getting back up to about that $65 range. That'd be a quick $8 per share return. And again, I'm in there like right at 57. So if we can get it up to about that $65, $66 range, you're looking at about a 14 to 18% return on the investment. And then we bought some Dollar Tree as well. Like I said, I mean, we've been buying a lot of stuff. We bought a little bit of this in the after hours yesterday, and we bought a little bit more today. Our average price is $91. So we're down $30 roughly per share, or $30 overall per share. That'd be ridiculous. We're down $30 overall in that position right now. And again, it's another company where, I mean, say we're in this longer term recession, what are people going to be doing? They're going to be shopping at places like your Dollar Generals, your Dollar Trees. Now, you could debate about which one. I wouldn't mind. If someone wants to invest in Dollar General over Dollar Tree, that's fine. I just, overall, this might be kind of stereotypical, but when I drive by Dollar Generals and when I go into Dollar Generals, they're complete, utter clusterfuck disaster. Where Dollar Trees are usually quite a bit more organized. They're actually kind of somewhat professional. Looking on the inside, you can actually walk through them, and I don't know. It's just I just like Dollar Tree as a company more. In all honesty, I know a lot more about Dollar Tree. I've kept up with them for a while, and if I remember right, they had a couple price target raises too. You got price target raised to 108, 105, 115, 110. So I mean, a lot of analysts are bullish on this stock. I don't necessarily go by that a lot of times, but I mean, man, when the price target is for most people 105 to 110 and it's trading around 89, 90 bucks a share, and then our indicators are showing by all means decent time to buy, beat on their earnings estimates. I mean, I just think overall it's a pretty good company, especially if you're investing long term. I think buy this thing on every dip. I think you can definitely get this up to 115, 120. My price target for the short term is just 105. So again, I'm in 15 shares at an average price of, what I say, like 91, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, 91. So, I mean, you're talking about about $14 to $15 per share profit. And again, if it continues to drop, I will buy more. When we look at our daily chart, that's not the daily chart. We pull up our daily chart. We're just filling the gap a little bit. We had a huge gap up on the earnings. I didn't touch it because of that. So we're just kind of filling the gap. I expect if it continues to fall, it'll probably find some support around $87 to $88, and then it'll probably continue higher. And then our resistance level, again, it might even get up to 107, 108 before finding some major resistance. So I may have to rethink my price target a little bit, but I want a minimum of $105 out of this stock. So again, I'll be buying it a little bit on every dip. And then lastly, or no, we got two more stocks that we bought. We bought some UPS this morning, around 102, I believe. 103. We bought it at $103. Again, a little bit prematurely this morning when the market was first really getting going in the sell-off. Actually, man, we bought this really early. What the fuck? Did I really buy it that early? I thought I bought it later in the morning. Oh, that's when it was, when we started to bounce back. I thought the market was going to do this magical bounce back, apparently. And I bought it at like 103, like we said. So, I mean, got in a little bit prematurely. Only 10 shares of that. It's around 101 in the after hours. So, it's made up a little bit of progress. It's made up a little bit of ground. But this is just one where when I was looking at it, again, it looks like it's trying to bounce. And it's just a good company to have in your portfolio overall. Right around the area where we were actually talking about this in Discord, that $99 to $100 range is where it would bounce if it continued to sell off. Looks like it's done that at least so far. Again, it'll probably depend on what the overall market does tonight and into tomorrow. But if it can hold $100, then, I mean, we could see it definitely bounce back pretty strong. I'm just looking for $110 a share. That'd be a quick little, not quite 10%, but around 7 to 10% profit. And then our last position that we finally bought today, which was actually late yesterday as well, was DraftKings. And you guys know, again, like I said, I don't really like playing the IPO game. But whenever I was looking at DraftKings, I was like, man, it's been trading in a pretty tight range. And I got suckered in thinking that it was starting to break out to the upside. I should have held off on this by at least one day. Again, hindsight's 2020. Who predicts a 5 to 7% move for the markets on a day-to-day basis? Not this guy. But if I had held one more day, this would have been a perfect buying opportunity for me. If you're not in this stock already, if it drops a little bit more tomorrow, I think it's a decent buy, especially if you can get it around 32 to 35 bucks. I just bought in prematurely. I only bought 5 shares just because I knew I was taking some risk. But I'm buying this kind of for the longer term. I'm thinking once sports get going here, we got baseball. It's going to be starting back up July 4th, I believe is what they were talking about, sometime around the end of this month and into early July. You're going to have football. You're going to have a lot of sports starting to open back up. With no fans or with fans, it's not really going to matter. DraftKings, of course, is more of like your fantasy league type of fantasy league, gambling, sports gambling, that kind of thing. So just once sports opens back up, I think that is going to help the stock a lot. I don't necessarily have a price target on it. I'll just say 40 to 45 bucks, just because that's where it seems to have gotten just massively rejected. But you're seeing some ridiculous price targets. Some analysts are saying as high as like $75 on this stock. So who knows? I'm just kind of holding this one again. It's a very small position. It's like a $200 position, $185 to $200 position overall in the portfolio. So whatever happens with it happens. It's not going to make or break my portfolio at the end of the day. And like I said, to hedge our account, we have the 100 shares of SH, and we got 25 shares of SDOW in case the markets decide to go back down. Look, like expected, it got rejected once again at that 32.21 to 32.22 level. Not a good sign, but who knows? The night's still young. We'll see what happens overall. At the end of the day, as long as it holds above 3,000, that 29.95 to 3,000 level, that is a good sign, but it's not a good sign. We're in a pretty tight range right now, so I expect something by the end of this evening to give one way or another, but we'll see. Let's see if you guys, I don't know how many of you all we got tuning in right now. We got a couple of you. Like I said, if you all are new to the channel or anything, we love to have you here for future videos. Smash that subscribe button below and hit the bell icon. And if you've liked the stream so far, definitely hit the thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it, and it helps the video, helps the channel out a lot when you do that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it overall. I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update on just kind of what I've been buying, how I've been positioning my portfolio. And I cannot fail to mention, of course, we have a December MES contract, which is obviously getting just obliterated right now. like pretty much everything in the market, right? But again, why do we go all the way out to December? We bought ourselves time. We have 6 months for the market to go up. And over the long term, of course, we expect the market to go up. So even though that trade, which has made up a little bit of ground this evening, even though it's down pretty decently, is my biggest laggard on my portfolio by far. But even though it's down right now, again, we've got 6 months for the market to decide what it wants to do. And if we just go based off of history, I mean, just look how short, go back to the actual MES, the one that's trading right now. Just look at how short term these pullbacks are. Even in the quote unquote worst of worst cases, you're looking at, this was pretty much a whole month, and then boom, we snapped right back. So I'm not trying to be like what they would call a perma bull, where I mean you're just thinking that just boom, the market's just going to go straight up. I'm not saying that by any means. That's why I went all the way out to December. I wanted to buy myself plenty of time. That way, if the market decides to keep going south for a little bit, it's no big deal. I got 6 months for the market to go up. And why did I do that? That rolls right into pretty much the end of the video, which is just what is still, is my price target, is your price target? So let me know in the chat or in the comments below what your price target is for the S&P 500. Are you still kind of bullish? Are you thinking new all-time highs? I'll tell you, I am. I'm still thinking all-time highs. When we just continue to look at data, it's still pointing towards that we're recovering very rapidly. There's tons of economists, I guess you could call them, who are pretty much glorified weathermen when it comes to the economy. They're wrong more times than they're right. Prime example is they expected us to be at 20% unemployment for May. We actually fell all the way down to 13%, so they were off by 7%. They projected 10 million job loss. We created almost 3 million jobs. They were way wrong. So I'll just leave that at that. But like, as for me overall, my projection on the S&P 500 is between 34 to 3,500 by the end of the year. Keyword is end of the year, and that honestly depends on a lot of things. Obviously, this coronavirus stuff, how reopening the economy goes. It looks like it's going in the right direction, but hopefully that can continue. And then obviously who gets elected. If our current president is still in, I don't see any problem with the market going back up to all-time highs. But if the other side, if the other guy who has dementia, it seems, gets elected, then by all means we could definitely roll over from there. So it'll be interesting overall to kind of see just how all that plays out. But again, the whole point of that was longer term, what do you see? Well, don't look at MES because it hasn't been around long enough to look that far back. But when we look at everything, what do we see over long periods of time? When we look at it over long periods of time, what do we see? Up, 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 up. That's it at the end of the day. I mean, in 6 months, what do you think the market's going to be? Do you think it's going to be down? Maybe this is a better way to put it. 6 months from now, which do you think is more likely? ES to be down 500 points or ES to be up 500 points? So do you think that it's more likely for ES to be at 2,500 or 3,500? Based on history, I would say 3,500. Now again, 3,500 is not like necessarily my actual target. My realistic target is 3,400, which again, that's a 100-point difference. But 34 to 3,500, I think, is definitely possible. Again, longer term. We're talking months from now, 6 months from now. I know there's going to be bears out there who are just always doomsday, thinking that coronavirus is going to kill us all. It's going to kill our economy. It's going to kill the dollar. We're going back to the gold currency, which I wouldn't mind, by the way, but it's not going to happen. I mean, just look at it. Again, we priced in worst case scenario way back when, it seems, at the end of March. We're not going back to this level. I hate to break it to the bears who always think we're just going to zero. We're not going to retest that level. Again, we're probably worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario, going to test that 2,700 level, probably bounce off of it super violently, just like we did down here, and then continue higher. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I don't know if you guys have put your inputs at all. How's it going, you all? We got thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, if you've enjoyed the stream, hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate that. I know it helps the videos, the algorithms, all that on YouTube. And I hate to be that YouTuber that asks for thumbs up and all that, but apparently it helps the videos, helps the channel a lot. And like I said, if you're new to the channel, I don't know if we have anyone new tuning in. We'd love to have you here for future videos and future streams. We usually go live a minimum of twice a week. We usually do a Sunday stock watch, stock talk type of video. Live every Sunday, usually right before market open. Futures market opens at 5 p.m. Central U.S. time. We usually do it about an hour or so, either before or after market open. And we just kind of look at stocks that you guys want to look at, and I answer your questions, and I just give my input, kind of like how we did today. I give you guys kind of just the stocks and whatnot that I'm in right now, and give you my input on the market overall, as the market is still pulling back here. And then, like I said, we usually try to upload a minimum of 1, sometimes even 2 other informative videos a week for those of you that are like newer traders and just learning just about the stock market overall, what to expect, what's BS, what's not BS. I keep it plain and simple over here. So if you like that, definitely subscribe. Join our totally free Discord group chat. Link for that is down in the description below. It's totally free. Don't charge for anything over here. We have close to 200 members in there now, including myself, and that is by far the easiest way to reach out to me directly. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So just don't get down on yourselves. I know there's a lot of people that are probably down on themselves right now because, I forget the exact number, but I want to say there was hundreds of thousands of new Robinhood accounts created since the coronavirus started, and I know a lot of people right now are getting their first taste of what can happen in this market, a good just smack to the damn face. Do not get down, do not panic sell, don't sell everything. If anything, now is the time to hunker down, find some value stocks that you like longer term. If nothing else, hedge your positions. I cannot stress enough, hedge. Like I said, we're trading with margin about $24,000 in the portfolio, and we have a solid $3,000 in hedges, just in case if the market continues to go down, we'll make money as the market goes down. Now, from a quote-unquote, when you see your account, the account's still going down, but again, you only lose at the end of the day if you sell low. That's the whole point of having the hedges. Let the hedges make you a couple percent a day, a couple $100 here and there, depending on your portfolio size, and then roll those bad boy profits into your longer term positions, and then boom, once the market goes back up, you'll be doing way better than the overall S&P 500 and your overall retirement portfolios. But we'll just leave it on that note, as S&P is around 3,010 in after hours trading. Like I said, hope you guys did enjoy the stream. Hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, guys, keep on going out there, make your profits, cover your profits, achieving your financial freedom this year. And I'll see you guys in the next video or stream for our Sunday stock talk. Take it easy, guys.